What are the products that I use in my hair to get my voluminous curls, my shine, to keep them for 4 days? What products do I use? This is probably the most popular question I get all the time, and I don't know why I have not made a video. I am Christine Beauvais. I'm a style expert. I talk about your clothes. I talk about reinventing yourself. But your curls, yes, they say a lot about you. And I am constantly being asked, what products am I using in my hair? And I will tell you that it's been a lot of learning between the technique, the products, water, and drying your hair. When you get the right combination for yourself, you're going to love your curls. This is what I think people don't take the patience to do with their curls because it takes time to perfect it. But nowadays, you can really learn a lot from everybody out there who has curly hair. There is no one perfect technique. Not everyone is going to do everything exactly the way you do it, but you will learn if you listen and you take the time to test and experiment. The number one thing that I have learned for myself is getting the products on my hair when it's super wet. Why? Because when my hair is saturated, I want to lock in that moisture. Remember, the cuticle of a curly hair girl is opened. You want to lock in that moisture, and you need to do that with the products that are right for your hair type. Now, I'm a 3BC. I have very thick curly hair. My hair can get very dry, so I have to learn to really keep it moisturized. And I have to do that on day one. When I do it on day one, when I get my hair locked in with the right products and the light moisture, it's going to last for 4 days. I want to wash my hair on day 4. That is my goal. On day 4, sometimes I'll get to a day 5, and I don't really want to spend doing a lot of retouching on days 2 and 3 because sometimes when I've done the retouching, it just doesn't come out the same way. So, my biggest goal is that once my hair is completely saturated, rinsed out of the conditioner in the shower, I do one thing. I take a product like this cream called TreLuxe Curl Supreme 4-in-1 Hydrating. I want to get that on my hair when it's super wet. Now, my hair is thick, so some people will say, oh, I just use a dime size. No, I need to use at least a pumpful, and I want to start raking it through, and I want to get it on top because that tends to be the driest because it's more exposed to the air and the light and the sun. And I really want to get it into my curls, but I don't want to do it too heavily. That's going to cancel out my gel. Now, I say that because it's just simple terms. But I like to use a liquid gel. That's the only type of gel. I never use those gooey gels. They never work for me. But I like the Ouidad line. So I will use most of the time Vita Curl Tress Ouidad. This has a nice strong hold. Now, with this together, they make a good combination. But sometimes I just have to write the right formula of this and this to mix it. Now, I have done it with their Ouidad Advanced Climate Control. These are nice together, a little too soft because this is much lighter than the Tresfex, and it can be a little too softer. And I might not always have a nicer defined like day 3. And so I've kind of gone back and forth. They do have the red bottle, which is stronger. And I will use that more in the summertime, especially around humid days. But a cream and a liquid gel is what works for me. Once I had that cream in, I get out of the shower. I want to take this and I'm going to section my hair off. And what I do is I basically grab a section and I'm going to take that gel and I'm going to just kind of really get it into the strands. And then I'm going to kind of rake it through with my hands. I'm all about the hands and a wide tooth comb. That's it. Simple and easy. Then I take each strand and I go like this. And I keep taking the strands and I keep going like this. That is what keeps my definition for the next 4 days. That technique. I see people do this way. I don't know that doesn't work for me. I just do it like this and I twist it. It gives me more definition. It holds the curl and it makes a big difference. If I don't do that, if I just raked it through and let it go, I call it 80s hair. My hair just gets too big. My hair can get very wide. So for me, the spiral definition just gives it more definition and keeps it a little bit more calmer instead of lion's mane. Once I've done that, then I'm going to just let my hair just sit. Now, I'm very particular about the clips. So I take my hair like this, still wet, and I will kind of push it up like this. This is a very unique pretend while it's still wet. Nobody does this but me. But because my hair has changed, because I'm getting more gray, it's definitely different, and I get it dyed at the roots. So it's got a different texture nowadays. And so I'm very particular about putting my clips in because I don't want my hair to have a weird kind of crown that I get sometimes. So I've learned over time to just play with different ways of putting the clips in your hair. But I do that just to start giving it some volume. I will let my hair kind of sit for about 20 minutes with wet and just the products because I find that the longer I wait before I start to dry it, the better it holds. And I only go for 60 to 80% on drying my hair because if I dry it too much and I didn't put enough of the product in, I will find that it will be frizzier the next day. And that tends to happen probably more when I need a haircut. I notice that will be more, a lot of things can change around your haircut. And especially if you've gone from a short hair to long hair, because I'll usually like let it grow out and then sometimes I go short and then I'll let it grow out again. But you will always know when you're ready for a haircut how your hair starts acting. But pretty much, I will sit under the dryer, hooded dryer. I'll let this kind of make it easier to dry for at least maybe about 5 or 10 minutes. And then I will get out and I will start drying with the diffuser. And so when I've hit that 60 or 80%, then maybe I'll go in now with a pick and I'll kind of get rooted up here to get more volume because I want to keep as much volume as possible. But I find that this product, because it has some definition, really helps me to get a lot more root volume. Now, Dad has a product that's similar to this, but it's much heavier. It's called Curl Butter. It's an interesting product that's a product where you need less of. And I have experimented with that and I'm still experimenting. It has really kind of a nice, almost like a deep conditioner. But if you put too much in, it can feel weighted. The first time we experimented with my Darlene, my stylist at Greg and Tony, every time I go to get my hair colored, she is so good because she allows me to experiment. If you have a really good salon hairstylist, go those days when you get a haircut or if you're going to do the color. And I mean, they should be really friendly. Mine is. And allow yourself to ask to use different products because that's a great way of not having to spend money on products you might not like. But try other products, try some other things because until you try something, you never know what works. And that makes a big difference. For example, my deep conditioner, triple treat coil infusion, this product, I stopped using it for a while. I could see a big difference. I went back to using it on the weekends. I will deep condition my hair for about 25 minutes. So I'll go in the shower, I'll shampoo, just basic shampoo, curl quencher, and I will then put this in and I make sure that I coat every strand of my hair. This is very thick. It has a strong perfume, which I wish they would make it fragrance free. This one has a perfume too. I wish they would stop with the perfumes. It's frustrating. But once I put that in, I really get that saturated. And I kind of go from here to here because my hair is getting color here. So I don't want to put too much in here because this is going into the curl and getting the moisture in. So what I'm really doing is setting it on the weekends with a deep conditioner. It makes a big difference. This is why I say that when you're experimenting, take pictures, Make notes of the products you use because you will go back to a picture and say, my hair looked great this day. What did I do? I used those products. My hair didn't look good this day. Oh, I wasn't using those products. So it can make a huge difference for me because I'm so dry. This is what works for me. It may not be for everyone else. You might do a deep conditioner, maybe 5 minutes if you have lighter, not as thick hair and it's kind of moistured, but it's all of an experiment. So these are the things that I have been experimenting over years with trying. The other thing I use is at night. I just bought this little satin bonnet at CVS, and I will say that has made a difference. I use a satin pillowcase, and I used to maybe put my hair up in a bun or I'd put it up in a clip, but just putting it up into a bonnet, and that one stays on. That one does make a difference too. I really can say that makes a difference. So it's all about number one, how you take care of your hair on a daily basis. I said, like, I want 4 days to shampoo my hair on day 4, but I don't really want to be touching up as much. So I want to make sure I get the right products in on day 1. I do color my hair, but I go to the salon and I also experiment those days. You know, I'll have them put a different product in my hair or let me test out other products those days. And that's what really makes a difference because then I can compare without, buying products. And it makes a huge difference. I get my hair cut pretty much every 3 to 4 months. I will say that when I go longer than that, I always have more challenges because um, for me, the We Dad cut, the way their technique is, and I'm very about taking out a little of the bulk, that just is really makes a huge difference for my curls. It's not for everyone. You have to find what works for you, and you have to really sit with a really good hairstylist. Like mine is Darlene, and she loves to teach. She's worked with Me Dad herself, so she knows how those products work. She understands techniques, and she cuts every curly girl a little different because of their hair and their texture and their volume and what they prefer. So you have to go with the right intentions when you go to get your haircut. It's so important. If you walk in saying, nobody gets my hair, a stylist never does a good job. If your attitude is that, then you will always have a problem. That is really part of the thing. If you're struggling because you're like, it feels so expensive. Well, when I started doing this, I felt like that sometimes too. But between Ulta that carries the We Dad line and between the WeDad.com website and CVS, you can get all these products on sale. I barely pay for them full price. So when you know how to work it the right way between these brands and using up their points and getting them on sale, it's costing you nothing. But the goal is when you apply the products the right way, by day 4, you're not using the products as much as you need to. So that's the things that I had to reprogram over time. And I remember for a time I was going for the cheaper stuff and I thought, oh, but it doesn't hydrate your hair. It doesn't give you the same definition. So look for the right curly girl products based on your texture, your volume, your thickness, but experiment. That's as much as I can tell you. You have to experiment. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I would love to answer them. I could do another video on other products. If I change up any other products and I start using them, I'll start adding more videos on curls. But it's all a process. You just have to have patience with yourself. When you do, it's going to make the biggest difference. So if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe because I have wonderful videos all about reinventing your style, and I will add in some more curly videos over time. So for now, enjoy your curls and have a great day.